Oh, sorry. That is my fault, guys. Forgot to hit that little green button right there. So apologies for that. You should be able to hear me now. Um, so again, guys, just an incredible day, and hopefully you were able to take advantage of that. All right, let's get to the market pulse, guys. See what we have going on there, Peter. What is the latest and greatest in the SPY this morning?
Well, let's see. So global futures are largely down today. Not big, but we're seeing a little bit of a downturn in the global markets, um, which may which may put some pressure on the North American markets. We'll see. On the economic calendar this morning, not a lot. We've got job openings that are coming up at 10 a.m. as well as wholesale inventories. Neither one tend to provide a big push to the market unless they're significantly off the numbers. So I guess we'll find out at 10, but be aware of that if you're in a trade right at 10 a.m. And then that's about it for sort of big announcements expected for today. Overall in the markets, as Carlos is saying, some interesting things happening yesterday. We're seeing more movement around COVID-19 cures. And we're going to talk about this with a couple of stocks that are on our list, but it's one of the things to be aware of and watch. I'm seeing a lot of real jumpy stocks, and this is, it can be real exciting, right? If someone announces they think they have a cure, but companies are going to be eager to say, we've got a cure before they do, and stocks could plummet as fast as they go up. So just be really, really careful if you're deciding to play any of those tickers.
All right, thank you for that. So again, guys, let's get to what we have here. Let's start with what's gapping up this morning. We don't have much, as you can see here. SRNE right now, this one is slightly up 10%, 1 million shares traded right now for the most part. Now, this is one that has been active in the past, as we have seen this crazy volume here. Hasn't done much for the last couple of days, but today we have a pretty nice gap up. Pre-market wise, it's starting to build up a little bit here. Again, this is not one of the best trading stocks, but we have seen some beautiful breakouts out of this in play when it is in place. So let's look at yesterday. For the most part, a lot of the action happened after hours, as you can see here. And here at the morning, they did have a nice ABCD pattern if you were watching this. So could be a possible. I'm going to clean this up here and get some of these stocks
And
out of
this
the
is
way.
while you're doing that, Carlos, this is a great example of exactly what I was talking about.
Mm,
SRNE has made a statement that they believe they've got a potential cure they've got two different, I guess, virus cures underway. Excuse me, STI 1499 and STI 4398. So they say, like, we've got a dual path potentially to a cure, and that's what's providing some movement to the stock. But again, this is just statements from the company itself, which means, it hasn't yet been vetted. It's only been done in preclinical trials, so it's not like it's been field tested at this point.
yeah, that is scary stuff. I mean, they're hitting some of the hotkeys topics, as you mentioned, right? Some of those hotkey words that might might create some movement, but that is scary to see any kind of sustainability if it's actually going to get some continuation. So, not the best catalyst to trade on something like that. Here is Macy's, guys. These guys are up 8% this morning, 3.5 million shares. They're very active after hours yesterday here. After the close, you can see a beautiful pop. Was this earnings, Peter? Was there any news that broke out on yesterday? Not sure if you had
It
a chance to
wasn't
dig
earned.
in.
It wasn't earnings, but they did release a statement that their store openings have gone better than expected. So two things happened. One, they've announced higher than expected sales as they've started to reopen their stores, and they actually increased their guidance as a result. So, it's a little, to me, it's a little weak because that could tail off in a week or two, and then suddenly Macy's is back where they were. I mean, you got to look at the stock overall. It's been down significantly over the last couple of years.
Yeah, yeah.
So any pop, I mean, it could be a great player today, but I'm going to approach it with a little bit of skepticism. But it probably will be on my list.
Yeah, I agree. I'll throw it on here. One of the things with Macy's is that it can be really choppy as well. So today could be the difference maker because we are seeing some pretty good swings here in the pre-market with some very decent volume. DVAX this morning, they are up 3.1. Not the best pre-market action. They're above 100,000, but overall, this pre-market activity is not looking all that great. Their daily is a little bit all over the place. Definitely not a fan of it at the moment. I'm going to throw it down here just in case it gets better, but for the most part, I don't think this will be making our list. Now, DKNG, this is DraftKings, and I know a lot of traders watch this one. I personally don't keep it on my list. Hold on a second. Here we go. DKNG. So at the moment they have 111. Their pre-market starting to get going. Their daily again doesn't have a lot of history, but you do have a nice daily though. For the information that we have so far, their daily looks pretty decent actually. So starting to build up nicely here. Hopefully it can continue to get going. But this is one I've been staying somewhat away from. Maybe today could be the difference difference maker this morning. So we'll keep an eye on it. Again, their daily looks amazing. Peter, not sure if you had any chance to look at this one for the actual intraday play or traded it.
I've stayed away from it only because when I've watched it during the market hours, I don't know, I just didn't like the price action. I can't explain exactly why, but it just never attracted me. It didn't set up patterns that I was looking for. So.
Gotcha. Well, let's see what it does today. Let's look at some of the stuff that's gapping down, and obviously we have a tons of stuff here. But before we get to that, I'm sure everyone saw. Well, if you didn't, we'll show you now. NKLA yesterday. I mean, this thing was just unbelievable, guys. We're breaking out of 40, right? Opened up around 40 here, all the way up to 73. Previous day close on this was 73.27. And today, this morning, we're already up another 25% or so. I mean, this thing is just ripping. Scary. You have to be very, very careful when you have a stock that's moving like this. And actually, what is the float on this? If we bring this over here, this is a trade ideas, guys. If you have this scan, this is really, really amazing. NKLA. The float on this is not even populated in trade ideas, so I'm not sure what the float even is on this.
So that would explain why it's not showing up on our gappers list, because if there's no float populated, we exclude anything that doesn't have a float listed, because otherwise we'd get all of the ETFs and other symbols that we don't want to follow. So people are wondering why it wasn't there. That would be the reason. But I see on FinViz that it's about 23 million for the float.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Yep,
right.
I'm seeing that from the comments as well. So excellent. So not bad. 23 million. That's not bad. But again, this one, guys, we are going to put it down here in our risky pile because it's a stock you really want to make sure that when you put this one on your montage, you know exactly what you're doing here. Very, very careful. Look at the swing. Some of these candles are $5 within a minute or two. So again, the volatility on this right now is very high. Also, keep in mind, guys, that this is the type of stock there's a lot of people going to be having FOMO, because they missed the move yesterday. They might be getting in a little late now and not actually be looking for an actual pattern. If you're going to trade this, you have to make sure you have a strategy and a pattern in place that you're trading. So be careful. And usually when you have stocks like this, it's a little bit more difficult to find a pattern that has a high rate of working, right? Scalping might be a better a way to trade this one today. So just be very, very careful. All right, let's look at our top five on this gapping down list this morning. KZR right here. This one, horrible pre-market. So I'm just going to move right over to the next one. And I say that because just look at the way this is building, guys. Not looking great. And even if it had a good pre-market activity, look at the daily. Look how choppy this is. The candles are not being formed very well. Very low volume for the most part. Again, it's just not anything good there. HTZ has been the talk of some time now with possible bankruptcy, Chapter 7 or whatever they're filing for business. You can see here they have some pretty good volume, 9.4. Their pre-market action actually looks pretty nice. This is good. It's got a nice range building here between the low of the pre-market now and the previous day close. Peter, what's the latest and greatest from what we already know?
It's just continuing news, like you said, about sort of the Chapter 11 bankruptcy that they filed. I expect to see movement on this. You're right; it actually looks pretty good pre-market. I've been watching a lot of shares being traded, and it just amazes me that this hit a low of 40 cents and now it's up around $5. I think I'll probably put it on my list because there's certainly a lot of interest. Keep in mind, bankruptcy protection just means that creditors can't raid their assets at this point. So this is still in play. It's still a viable company, unlike LK, which is threatened delisting. To me, this is one that you can play with a little more certainty because there's a process to go through. It's not about to be halted forever in the immediate term. Like you should get some notice on that. So Hertz is a potential day trading player for today.
Yep, yep, I agree. Pre-market is looking very nice, guys. Some really good volume here as well. So definitely on our list. Next, we have one. The first airline today here is Save. They are down 7% this morning. Again, they had an airlines. You're going to see this similar daily chart, right? They had a beautiful pop over the last couple of days, pretty much getting extended, getting almost a little bit more than a little bit less than halfway from the initial drop here. So again, some pretty good movements on them. So Save right now, they're pre-market 850,000 units traded. They're pre-market a little bit sideways for the most part, but definitely worth taking a look at. I personally prefer the other airlines. Let's take a look at them. Here's American Airlines, also very similar, just kind of going sideways a bit here. A lot more volume, guys, 3.6 opposed to Save. Let's see who else is on here. Let's look at JetBlue is leading the way also here. Number 3 down 6.5, also lighter on the volume and the pre-market action. United was just incredible yesterday, amazing volume. Right now, they're looking better than Save for sure, and better than JetBlue. So United will be on my list. I like the way that one is building up. Some really good volume. And again, a lot of these airlines are, I think for me personally, they're very extended on the daily, guys. This is a very big move that they took here. Now, if you notice, if you look at the SPY has been ripping for some time now. The airline struggled big time to get going, waiting for the news when they're going to start reopening these flights. And that has finally been coming out slowly. That next month or next quarter, they're going to be having some better numbers, right? Some good percentages too. We heard something as high as 55% increase on flights, which is quite a bit when you're completely halted, right? So United looks good, guys. I think this one will be very active. Here we have Delta. Delta has been great also, very similar to what United is doing on the daily. So I think between Delta and United, I'm going to keep these two. I know JetBlue, I know American Airlines and Save, they are, again, they're gapping down slightly more, but just the way Delta and United trade have been really, really clean. Peter, what airlines have you been looking at that you like during this time?
Yeah, I've been watching the same actually. Yesterday, I spent most of my time watching UAL of the airlines, but American Airlines AAL was also good. And you're right. I mean, the whole sector has been very active for a couple of months now, and I see that continuing. So there's some plays. It can get a little tough in the afternoon. Sometimes it tends to go flat, but in the morning, there's opportunity in them. I'll take the opportunity right now just to
Yep.
thank our members in the room, always providing good input here. We were just talking about Hertz. As they've pointed out, there's actually no shorts for Hertz and IB, so that's something to be aware of. And I did go and check Robin Track, which tells us the Robinhood traders, what they're trading most. Top two, HTZ and NKLA.
Mm.
So all that tells you is that there's a lot of sort of new and novice traders taking positions in there, which just sometimes that can be a warning because it's just it can create unpredictability.
Yeah, especially NKLA. That is scary to see people, that are not experienced trading a stock like this, which experienced traders, some will even stay away from, right? So it's a scary thought. All right, let's head on down here, guys. So we went through the airlines there. Let's see where's our CCL? Where's our RCL here? So NCLH. Okay, so here we go. So we have RCL is down 5.4, a little bit lighter on the volume. NCLH has been great. They have obviously way more volume. They're right now 2.2 million shares and they are down 5.1. And where's CCL? And CCL is here. So pretty much going sideways for the most part. So I'm going to just keep an eye on NCLH for the most part right now. And then we'll see if CCL gets better. Right now, they both look pretty similar. Again, they have a very active pre-market activity. Also, like the airlines, they have been leaving this area of great resistance for a couple of months now, breaking out of that, consolidating, and just ripping higher here, making new recent highs. We haven't been up here ever. We haven't been here since March, right? So that's good news for them. All right, let's see what else we have on this list, guys. That looks good. Oxy is one that has been extremely active. This morning they are down 7.2, 1.6 million shares traded for the moment. Very active pre-market activity. I think this is one to watch. We've been watching this one closely the last couple of days. And I think I'm going to stop there. Now, Peter, what do you like, or is there anything that has an amazing catalyst that we should be looking at?
Now, I don't really have much on my list today. I'm hoping that more stuff pops up between now and the open. Otherwise, I'll just be checking the scanners and the usual. I mean, Boeing has been great. We can't forget that over the
Yes.
last number of
Yep.
days. So that's been a good one to watch. Oxy, I've been really surprised at how well Oxy has moved because, it's one of those oil stocks. We don't normally watch them too much, but it has been really good. And then I'm going to still keep an eye on Guild and AZN. That rumor of a merger is still out there. Didn't cause much activity yesterday, but I'll just keep an eye on it in case. And then, of course, there's the good old favorites, right, that I like to watch. AMD, somebody commented, Peter, you're trading it like every day. It's not quite every day, but I do keep a regular eye on it. And yeah, it gives me good moves. I find the moves predictable. It's a stock I'm comfortable with. And there's value in that, right? If you guys find something that you're comfortable with, it doesn't matter what it is. But if you have more confidence in your ability to trade it, that can mean a lot. And it's worth keeping those on your constant list. The last one, by the way, Tesla. We're still waiting to see if this is going to make a move to try and break 1,000 this week. It had actually a pretty good day yesterday. Didn't manage to get there, but it made a surge over 950. So we'll see today what it does.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable with this stock. If we zoom back even further, guys, I mean, this thing was sitting what at 200, right? 200 had this insane. This is the Cybertruck stuff came out around this time, I believe, and then from there it's just ripped higher. Everybody thought it was a joke, and it sure wasn't. And then look at the drop here, right? And look at the comeback. I mean, just wow, unbelievable. I gotta say though, you gotta be a you got to have some real guts to be an investor in this company and hold to the long time, to the long run for these type of swings. That's for sure. All right, guys. So again, yeah, I think we have a pretty nice list right now. Let's take a look at what some of you guys are watching. BYND. Yes, this was amazing yesterday. I took a trade on this one, as I mentioned before, breaking out is a great level of resistance here. We did have some good moves out of here. Just look at the action yesterday, just insane. Just never really looked back. Today they're pretty quiet for the most part. Only 143,000. They're down 2.6. So this could be a great continuation play if it can squeeze above this previous day close. But we'll have to see what it does. It's a great possible, guys. It's not as active as it was yesterday. So we're going to keep an eye on it. But this is a sleeper. This stock could have this very quiet pre-market action and still give you a really, really good day. So we're going to keep an eye on that one. All right. So I started from KT. Let's see what else is on here. We have Oxy. We looked at. Yes, that's on our list. Let's head on down. Tesla. Yeah, Tesla. I'm not going to put it on there. It's just way too expensive. But I will be watching it because I do want to see what it does, between today and the end of the week. All right, let's look at SIG had earnings. All right, let's take a look at that. Jonathan's giving us that one right now. All right, so we got to see what builds up a little more from this one here. Right now, the way it's trading, the pre-market doesn't look great, and also the volume is very light. Their daily has been okay. What I don't like about this stock, and we traded it before in the past, is that it can tend to have some really low volume sometimes. So the intraday trading is not as great. Let's see how it traded yesterday. Not too bad, not bad in the moves here. So I can put it down next to Tesla, guys, see if it gets better, and then we'll see. We'll come back to it. TIF had earnings, another retail company. Again, this one's you got to be careful. They don't trade all that well. Look at the drop on this one a couple of days ago. We did see this, and then it's starting to come back up now. It will crack 100,000 in a few minutes here. We're starting to get going. This could be active, actually. This move that it's making now could be interesting. So let's see if it can make our final list. Right now, it's looking good. I'm trying to get going. The issue with this one, guys, it can be very choppy, so you want to be careful. And also the spread, always take a look at the spread, because I noticed that Tiffany can have a really bad spread. Right now the spread is 40 cents or so, and even then you can see you didn't have a lot sitting on that 40-cent spread, and right there almost went to 50 cents. So be careful with that one when it comes to taking a trade. Make sure that spread is looking decent. CHK, after a huge day yesterday, down 45% today. I mean, just unbelievable. So this goes back to Oxy, right? Oxy can trade so clean. And if you look at the intraday yesterday, it was just the action rate went right into the open. Right, the way this was trading. So again, some really good opportunities. On CHK, I'm not sure about this one. For me, it's very difficult to trade. Look how it traded yesterday. Look how choppy it was. Look how low the volume was. And this is why the reason that type of low volume of only 700,000 for the entire day, that could be scary. When a move like this, it's going to be very difficult to read the price action and also read the level too. So I'm gonna skip on this one. So Jack, 16 holes yesterday on CHK. That's insane. Yeah, that's insane. Um, all right. Okay. Let's. What else we have, guys? Let's go over to our YouTube chat. See what we have here. So AMD we have on our list. Nvidia. Let's take a look at that one. Nvidia this morning not doing much, guys. Pretty quiet volume wise, just kind of similar to AMD. And actually I don't have AMD here. Peter has it on his list, but just chopping around. Is in a tight range right now. We need some kind of news, some kind of volume to get this going. So I'm not going to add it to our list, but if it hits our scanners we can look at it. But right now you can see it has a very tight range on the daily, just kind of going sideways, either waiting for the market to explode or some kind of news to break out in the tech sector. And we're not seeing anything all that crazy right now. NKLA we do have is down here. And if we look at it now, it's just trying to get going here. High of the pre-market at 97. I'm going to mark that down. Let's see if we could break above that. So 97.41 right now on NKLA. But again, guys, just be very, very careful with this one, please. MIK this morning, yesterday was on fire. Today's not doing all that much. I don't think we're going to get anything crazy. This pre-market action very, very quiet right now. Yesterday had a nice little pop and it continued to trend for the rest of the day, but at the moment just very quiet. Could be a continuation play for later in the mornings. We'll have to see how this one's going to open up. But right now, I don't think it'll be a good one for our main list. As XSPA, there we go. This one, guys, let's see what we have. XSPA. All right, so we do got some volume, 1.4 pre-market. You know what? These lower price stocks and this pre-market activity, it just doesn't look all that great, guys. I didn't watch it yesterday neither. I know it has been in play for the last couple of days, but this is just not our style of trading at all. So I'm gonna move on to the next one here. IZEA, excuse me. IZA, another lower price stock, and I'm not sure what the flow is on this one. Let's just double check here. IZEA, this one is 35 minutes.
It's low.
Yes, I have 35. I mean, not too low.
35.
Yeah,
Hold on a second.
on trade ideas, unless that's not accurate. But either way, it's more of a penny stock, right? Sitting above under $1 here for the most part. Right. So we're not gonna watch that type of stock. All right, guys, let's do a few more. GUNS, let's see what that is up to. This was very active over the last couple of days. Right now, it's just moving sideways with some volumes. Again, right now, sitting on this level here, this kind of support area that has been support for the last 5 days. So it could be something, but again, this stock, you want to be careful. How did it do yesterday? Let's take a look at it. So pretty nice drop here. Not sure how the actual action was because I didn't look at it. But for the most part, this is one that is not really our typical type of stock that we like to look for and trade here. All right, guys, that is let's take a look at what we have here in our community announcements. We'll come back and do some levels for this, and if we have some time at the end, we'll get more stocks from you guys to watch.
All right, guys, let's get through some announcements. As we've been talking about for a little while now, we have launched a new podcast series, Talk with Traders. I've been fortunate to be able to interview quite a number of people, and we're releasing them every 2 weeks. Last week we had a new one. Next week we'll have another, and there's some great content in there. So check it out in your favorite podcast provider. Just search Talk with Traders, and you'll find the Bear Bulls Traders podcast. And there's, some great material in there. The forthcoming ones, I think you'll enjoy a lot as we talk with a couple of traders who are members in the room and have contributed significantly. So Kyle and his hotkeys, for example, we all know Kyle if you used any of his hotkeys, and so many people have relied on what he's done. It's good to sort of hear his background, how it came about, and how he leveraged his work experience to facilitate his training and then has used it to benefit our community so significantly. So check out our podcasts. In the room, we always have lots of things going on. So today we actually have 3 different live YouTube activities for all of our friends on YouTube, hopefully to entice you to join us, but just to give you an idea of the type of content that we have ongoing all day. Right now, obviously, we're doing the pre-market show that helps you set up the day. Midday today, Eamon will be doing his live trade review. That's always popular. and a good way to understand how you could improve on your trades and get a perspective on trading theory in practice, because we use trades that have happened in the last few hours to really give you examples of what can and should be done. And then through the close, we look at the markets. We look at what may be happening after hours, as well as do live trading through the afternoon where the opportunities present. So hope you'll join me, Mike, and Brian on the market close. We do that 3:30 through 4:15 every single market day. In the room, always lots of things happening, both with our psychology series and our success webinars. Starting with our success webinars, we'll let you know that tomorrow night, we've got Mark Randall that'll be joining us for Trader Mind Fitness. It should be a good session to help us understand what Mind Fitness is, how you can use it to enhance your trading, and why it will benefit you not only through your trading, but overall in your life. So that's 8 o'clock when those things usually are. Tomorrow night, Wednesday, June the 10th. Next week, I'm very happy to be able to present a trading strategy. So this will be more of a technical success webinar that'll help you understand a trading strategy that you could potentially apply. It's my double top, double bottom theory where I use it combined with moving average cross. I'll go through all the details, let you know how it sets up, how it works, and how you can leverage it potentially for your trading. As I mentioned, we also have our psychology series. I'm waiting for Carlos to flip the slide. There we go. Our psychology series will continue tonight with Sanjay. We've been talking about this for 2 weeks. Really, really looking forward to this. A meditation session with Sanjay. He's from the Art of Living Foundation, and he's going to lead us through sort of an introduction session to help you, because we talk about it a lot, but how do you actually get started? This will actually give you that opportunity. So for all of our lifetime members, please join us. That will be in our lifetime webinar room. And you'll be able to go through that. Next week, we'll be joined by Dr. Jonathan Katz, who's been a regular and our in-house psychologist, and he will do his shrink wrap podcast, because I keep joking, maybe we'll convince him to rap for us. But more importantly, he answers your questions. So if you've got questions that you want to have answered, advice or input on trading or how to manage your life around trading, he's been fantastic at providing suggestions and advice for our members. So join us next Tuesday for that. And last but not least, if you're out there and considering joining us, you've got friends that are thinking about it and want to try out trading, this is a really cost-effective way to do it. Consider joining us for a 1-week trial. We want to see all members in there, and we know that every room is not for every member, but we are confident in the capability that we've got and the skill, the content that we bring to you. Just consider joining us. For only $24, you can join us for an entire week. Use the code PREMARKET24, and you'll get access to our content, access to the trade room all day. You'll sort of see what it's like, see if it's for you. And if it is, then maybe we'll see you full-time in the room. So that's PREMARKET24. Hopefully we'll see you in the trade room.
All right, excellent.
All right, let's get to some levels. We've got, as always, quite a few to go through.
Yes, we do. All right, guys, let's take a look at what we have here. So someone mentioned a good idea in the YouTube chat about putting, and someone also did in our one of our members mentioned this as well, doing levels for the SPY, right? So if we look at the SPY, because some of these stocks that can tend to move with the SPY, like some of the airlines and things like that, are going to be following whatever the market is doing. Having levels on the SPY could also be important. So if you look at it now, we're sitting right in between the highs and lows on the last 2 trading days, right? I'm going to mark down this one here as well. 313 is where we have some resistance on the way back up, obviously getting pretty extended. Now let's go back, right? If we get above this area here, which is the previous day close, sitting right at 323, notice as that has been, a great area of resistance, support, and then obviously in the drop here, try to support it, but then things got really serious and you got the drop, right? So above that, guys, if we're looking at this daily for a possible area of resistance and support, I see something right at 328. Now that's a long way from where the price action now. I don't think we'll get there in one swift move. We might have some stops along the way, but there is going to be a place where you have some possible resistance and support that is going to be right on there. And then towards the bottom, guys, you do have this 1113 area right on here. Now, again, keep in mind these levels are just like in any other indicator, especially on the SPY. If the SPY decides to have some kind of news, it can blow through a level like no one's business. So keep that in mind. It's not going to come to this level and bounce just because we have this here and everybody else might have it, right? So just keep that in mind. It's a tool. It's an indicator that you have, and hopefully it can guide us to making good decisions when trading. With that said, let's look at our watch list and see what we have on here. SRNE, guys, this one, very active right now. Pre-market starting to get going. We have 1.3, and this is the one that Peter mentioned earlier. They have a catalyst that's not all that great. So for that reason, I'm not inclined to have this on my list, right? I think it might be a very difficult stock to trade for the most part, but we will do levels in case it proves us wrong and it does trade well. We do have our high of our pre-market sitting at 531. Towards the bottom, we do have this perfect level here. The high from yesterday creating some good support right now, even in the pre-market, guys, right? So look at the pre-market, how that's creating some support right on there. That is yesterday's highs. If we lose that, we have the previous day close, and then highs and lows from the last 2 trading days got you covered towards the bottom. So pretty good on there right now. Here's Macy's just kind of chopping around, and then my thing with Macy's is that it can be very, very choppy, so you want to be careful, just like Tiffany, which we'll look at last year. Today their pre-market high sitting at 1113, their pre-market low at 950, very close to the highs for the last 2 trading days, so creating a good support for it if it decides to go back down and test that previous day close. And then towards the bottom of that, you do have 9 and 850 creating some good support as well. Now, if we can get going here, now notice the price action right now. The price action is kind of sitting at a level that you might want to mark down, probably a minor support level here. You do have 2 days on here, opening and closing around, actually closing at around that level, that 10, what are we looking at, 1030 or so, 1034. So I'm going to mark that there. You can also see in the pre-market, we have tested this a few times already this morning. Right over here, right in here has been creating some good support. We've been losing it. Now we're coming back to retest. So I think that 1030 could be important to have on our list. If we decide to head north here, we do have a level at 1241, also with a moving average coming in. You can see how great that support has been there for these 5 days listed there. All right, let's head on down to DraftKings. Yep. Yes.
One thing I'll just mention on that. So one we've been joking a lot in the afternoons, but we've been playing with a theory that Thor has come up with. We call it his tinfoil hat line, just because he's sort of joking that it's his crazy conspiracy theory. But if you go back to M, you can see at 8 a.m. every morning, the market makers often have to settle accounts, meaning if they get overnight orders that have to process first thing in the morning, that happens exactly at 8. At 8 a.m. on many, many stocks, you can see what we call a wide range bar. It usually has a small body, huge wicks. On on Macy's, you can see that bar. And it often sets levels that the stock pays attention to throughout the day. If something is really trending, it'll often pass by the bar and not use it. But we've noticed it's really come into play during the day. If you look at Macy's in the bottom of that bar, exactly what you were talking about there, Carlos, that is set at, I think, 1033 for this morning. And you can see throughout the pre-market, and so far, it's really been sort of using that as a line. So it's one thing to just keep an eye on. Whenever you see that big, what we call that wide range bar exactly at 8 a.m. on a stock, keep an eye on it. Today, if you actually go back and look at all the airlines, there's one in every single one of the airlines as they've been settling out accounts. I've been using it quite successfully in my trading. So it's just one other indicator. Don't rely on it solely, but it's an interesting data point.
Yep, absolutely. So I'm getting a lot of comments about using a highlighter. So this is what happened, right? I usually use Epic Pen, guys, and it's really neat. I have all my hockey set up for it, but it creates havoc for the stream on in our chat room and in my machine. So I noticed that using that Epic Pen, my CPU kept ramping up. So I got to find a better software that is not heavily using the resources of the computer. So that's why we're not using it anymore. We notice a decrease in quality for you guys, so we're gonna have to find something better. So in the meantime, I know it's a little tough to follow my mouse. I'll try to go as slow as I can so you guys can see where I'm pointing at. All right, so here, guys, let's go back over to Macy's. We're covered there. DraftKings is next. We're pretty much between the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days right on here, sitting right at the previous day close. But their pre-market action, guys, not great. Although they're above 151,000. I'm going to remove this one from the list. Their daily looks amazing, guys. I mean, this is a pretty good daily chart, right? It's trading very well without knowing how the intraday has been. So I'm going to remove this one for right now. Here's HTZ. I think this one is going to be in play trade today. Also has a couple of great levels on here. They're in the pre-market right now. You can tell this one on here. So as Peter was mentioning, 481 is a great area to have a support. Look how many times in the pre-market we have tested that right on there. Then your pre-market low is going to be down at 450. The minute we broke this 481 and we did not bounce, notice a nice drop here with some really good volume coming in, right? So 450 low of the pre-market right now. And if you zoom out a bit, you're going to see your highs and lows from the last two trading days got you covered towards the top and bottom. And you also have right here, you have your previous day close on there as well. Here is United Airlines, guys. So United Airlines is got some really good resistance up here, guys, over at 48.97. Previous day close, highs for the last two trading days, and also pre-market highs. So again, getting some really heavy rejection right on here. And look what it has done the last couple of days. Nice pop, sold off, comes back, goes up right to that level. And so far this morning, we tested that level at least twice. Low of the pre-market breaking down a little bit here at over at 43.77. United has been amazing, and this is the one, guys, where I made the big mistake yesterday. And I just want to talk a little bit about being in the moment. Is very, very important. You're going to hear that, hear us say that a lot in our psychology courses, and also Nada, when we had her lifetime webinar, she talked about that, being in the moment. You know that when you're sitting, know that you're sitting. So what I did yesterday, I had a long-term position, this UAL over here from 23 or so, right? So long-term stuff. And I wanted to add more on here. And at the same time I was trying to add on my Thinkorswim account, I was doing something else. And what I ended up doing, selling everything. So not being in the moment caused this huge error for me when it's supposed to be a long-term position and not something I want to sell at that time. So just keep in mind, guys, try to be in the moment, focus on what you're doing. If you're trading, especially, focus on that. You can't be thinking about everything else in life, because you will make mistakes like I did yesterday. So hopefully you can learn from that experience. And if it has happened to you, you can learn from your experience as well. So United, guys, looking very good. I love the way United has been trading. I am going to keep this one on here. I think it's going to be very active this morning. Hopefully it can pick a direction, though. That's going to be important. Here is Delta. Delta also dropping nicely. Got some good volume between these two. You can't go wrong. Very similar to United. Also has a good resistance here at 37. Towards the bottom, I'm going to mark down right over here at 29.33. And we do have the high of this day here, 32.81. But for the most part, highs and lows got you pretty much covered. And look at the resistance we're getting here at 37.20, not 28 or so. If we can break out of that, we do have a level up here at 38.90 and another one up here at 41.49. All right, here it is. NCLH, guys, also dropping a bit here. How is CCL looking? Let's see how that is. CCL, see which one looks better. Yeah, I think they're both pretty decent. So I'll keep NCLH for this morning. Highs and lows right now got you pretty much covered. They are covering the high of the pre-market and the low of the pre-market. So towards the top, if we're able to come back here, which doesn't seem like this morning, we're looking pretty weak so far. 30.09 could be a great area here, if possible, of a major resistance and somewhat of a minor support resistance here at 28.13. You can mark that down. And then if we lose this highs and lows that we have here for the pre-market right now, your next level is going to be the low around 21.68 and another one here at 19.95. All right, let's look at Oxy, guys. Oxy is trading very nice, dropping here lovely. They're down 10%, so I think this one's going to trade very well. Highs and lows right now pretty much giving you some really good levels. You can mark down the high of the pre-market over at 23.83. And then if we head on down, you do have your lows for the last two trading days covering you. And if we lose that, another level right on here at 17.05. I don't think we'll get there today, but who knows, anything is possible. But again, this one, guys, has a great pre-market activity worth watching. Here's BA. BA has been really good to us as well. Very similar to the airlines, guys. It's kind of stuck between the highs and lows and the previous day close. I'm only going to mark down here the low of the pre-market sitting at 214. And then for the most part, you pretty much cover when it comes to levels on this pullback that we're getting here on the daily. Let's look at Tiffany. Tiffany, yeah, I'm not going to watch this one, guys. It's just a spread. Look at the spread now. It's almost another 25 cents, even more, because you only got, see this 1 and 1, that's only 200 shares, right? So your spread is really about 50 cents. And even then, you look at this 124.75 and you only got another 200 shares. So your spread is, if you start looking at this, your spread could be really, really bad, all the way up to 124.99. So Just gonna take this one off, guys. For now, I'm not a fan of what I'm seeing there. BYND possible continuation. I know this pre-market doesn't look all that great yet, but this one could be a sleeper today. Had a really big day yesterday. Looking forward to what we're going to get out of this one today. High of the pre-market sitting at 160.79, and then the low sitting at 155.17. Then below that, you have the great level we had yesterday, this 147.46. And for those that missed it, just look how great this thing broke out of the pre-market high right here. And after it broke out from that, went right over to our 147.46 level. Stalled there for a bit. Nice consolidation, broke out of it. Almost a retest, not quite, and then just heads up to some new highs there. So BYND trading very nice yesterday. Hopefully we can get some continuation today out of that. I believe we will. It's just the way it traded yesterday. I would think so. DVAX I'm going to remove, guys. Looking at it now, still not looking great. So let's get it off our list. And then let's head down over to Tesla. Tesla we're going to watch. I think it's going to be just fun to see what we're going to get into in a few minutes on Tesla. And also at the end of the week, let's see what Tesla looks like at the end of this week. Are we going to hit that 1,000 or not? SIG also not looking all that great, guys. We gave it a couple of minutes. It's still the pre-markets all over the place. Their daily, though, I gotta say their daily does look interesting. You do have a great support here of the highs and lows, right? Several days testing this area. If we can break down from that, you do have some levels here you can get to. 1374. You have another one on here. 1214. Another level on here. Great level on here. 1031. Look at the resistance, right? And then later becomes support as we get above it. So some pretty good levels on the daily. I'm just not liking the way this pre-market is forming now. But again, this is the great thing about having these scanners. If something pops up there, we can take a look. And also in the community, you don't know how many times we don't have something on watch. Somebody mentions, hey, this looks like an ABCD pattern, or this looks like this, and we're able to tune in and take advantage. And the beats for the day and yet today so far and yesterday, NKLA, guys, up 20%, 3.6 million shares traded right now. Really aggressive stuff happening here. Are we sitting at all-time high? I would assume so that we are, but it depends. Sometimes these companies tend to do some crazy stuff, but at least 52-week high. It looks like all-time high as well. So not much levels we can mark here besides your highs and lows, which you already have, previous day close, and then towards the bottom you have some more levels from the last two trading days. So guys, again, as I mentioned before, be very, very careful with this one. All right, 9:13 Eastern time. Peter, let's look at your watch list. What do you like this morning?
Yeah, like I said, not a lot on the list. I'm going to watch M for sure. I'm going to keep an eye on SRNE just to see what it does. Said I don't really believe in the news there, but it could be fun to watch. Hertz doesn't have any shorts, so I'm going to pull it off my list. One that you didn't mention but was down earlier today, DGLY. It's a low float. I don't think we've talked about it today, did we?
We did not. We talked about it yesterday, I believe.
This one, it's had news only because this is Digital Ally. They actually produce body cameras, and with all of the Black Lives Matter items happening and the issues with police forces, there's been an upsurgence in interest in body cameras, not only for professional use but for individuals. So that's why this stock has been active the last few days. I don't know necessarily that it's going to move today, but it was on the gappers this morning, so I'll put that on the secondary list. But I think for me, primarily, it'll be M. It'll be the airlines, specifically AAL and UAL. And then I'm going to keep an eye on, I think I'm probably going to keep an eye on CGC because it's been moving the last few days. I want to see if it gets some continuation. So that's my pot stock favorite.
CGC, yeah. Let's see if we can get going there. All right, guys, let's see what other moderators have this morning. So Andrew is watching CCL, United, American Airlines, Tesla, M, Oxy, and FATE, So let's look at that one. We haven't taken a look at that one today. All right, yeah, this is getting active here.
Fate does have news. It's just a secondary offering, so just be aware of that. But
all right, not the best news. So we'll have to see how this actually plays out. All right, and then for swing, he's looking at long NAK. He's long NAK from last night. Thanks to the close show by Peter. Nice. All right, so you guys were watching this the action yesterday on the NKLA.
Yeah, our members actually brought it up because I wasn't actively watching it, and we took a peek, and it was obviously running both into the close and then after. So Andrew, I think, took a play on it after the close and benefited with this pop this morning.
All right, excellent. Let's take a look at what Jared is looking. He has a Oxy, which he has been watching for quite a bit, and I gotta say, Oxy has been trading very well. Even this pre-market is looking very good, so looking forward to having that on my list as well. And he's also looking at SPG, it's a real estate company, also all airlines as well. He's watching DKNG, Tesla, and NK LA as well. And the rest of the moderators are still putting their list together. So with that, I think we are going to wrap it up here, guys. Peter, unless you have anything else.
No, that's it. Trade safe, guys. Be careful out there in the markets today. It's been interesting and challenging, certainly the last few weeks. So, and we'll talk to you this afternoon.
All right, trade safe, guys, and take care.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate that.
Hey, good morning, Andrew. How you doing?